Well, hello everybody. Hello. I hope you're having a great Sunday so far. I hope you're doing well. Man. Not gonna lie, I almost missed this stream because I wasn't paying attention to the time and I was playing Warframe with a friend. But here we are, guys. I made it on time. All right, so oh, that's the wrong camera. There we go. Yeah, I've been enjoying Warframe a lot again recently, and it's always a nice game to come back to. I am still loving it just as much as I did when I first started playing it. Favonius, catch, Primordial Jade Spear, Avon Xiangling, catch on Raiden. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Warframe. We might actually do some more Warframe streams from time to time. I have to find a way to set them up better so I can stream them through my PC instead of through console. But we'll figure that out when I get there. But yeah, I think today after the book, which we probably won't be doing too long today, I don't know, we might do either Spyro 2 or Celeste. I know Genshin has Abyss reset, and then there's the Yelan event right now and everything, but we can do that sometime this week, like tomorrow or something. But today I'm feeling like either Spyro or Celeste. We'll have to see. I vote Spyro. Yeah, we gotta do Spyro 2, considering we beat Spyro 1 in one sitting, huh? We'll see what we'll do. I'm happy as well, Sable. Finally, my fugue is done. My fugue is in a usable state now. After I don't know how fucking long it took. But I can finally use my fugue, or have her ready whenever I get Rappa. I don't have to focus on building her now. Now I gotta work on Ranmei. And a bit of Galaga as well, maybe. But yeah, we're probably gonna... Maybe we'll do both, actually. Maybe we'll do a bit of Celeste first, and then some Spyro. We'll see, we'll see. I don't have anything planned concretely for today after the book. So we'll see what the evening brings. We might even do a little bit of karaoke, who knows? I don't. I've been in a weird mood the last week, so the stream can be all over the place. Who knows what will happen today? I have no idea. Lots of things can happen. Yeah, we're probably gonna do New Abyss and the Yelan event tomorrow or Tuesday. we'll probably have another Pal World stream soon as well, with somebody there. So there's that I still have to like confirm everything, but we might have a Pal World stream this week. And then we definitely gotta do Spyro 2 and 3. I gotta think of the next game we can do. You guys have any suggestions? Anything on mind that I should do maybe? That I have? Or that I can reasonably acquire maybe? Okay. Okay, for a while. I mean, nothing much. Well, I could do the story. Like, I have to do Penacony and then catch up with Emphorius and stuff. But other than that, all I've been doing is just like the daily grind. Use my Trailblaze energy and leave and stuff. Like, I can't even use my Fugue yet, really. Fugue is really good for break effect teams, and I just don't have a break DPS. Until Rappa finally gets a fucking rerun eventually. You know, at this point, I am at like 40 or 50 pity on guaranteed with like 80 pulls saved up. So I will definitely get Rappa 100%. Like, there's no doubt I will not get Rappa. But I might actually even be able to get her light cone at this point. If she's not gonna get a rerun for the next like 2 updates or something, and I'm gonna go through the entirety of Penacony in the time as well, like, I'll have so many pulls saved up. Yeah, I'm gonna have her and her light cone for sure. No doubt about it. I don't even know what update we're in right now on Honkai. Is it 3.5? I'm in 3.5 or 3.6 right now. I don't even know right now if we're in 3.5 or 3.6 on Honkai. 3.5, okay. So I don't think we have leaks yet for the 3.6 banners, apart from the drip marketing we've gotten. Wait, oh my, no, please let this be true. Please let this be true. I could see Black Swan, especially now with Hysolence and Kafka. Black Swan would probably be a good rerun. So apparently 3.6, according to these leaks, very highly skeptical still. It's gonna be, first off, it's gonna be Evernight, which is the new 5-star version of March 7th. And we're gonna have a triple rerun of Rappa, Topaz, and Black Swan. And then second half is the new Dunhung 5-star with Mighty, Castrus, and Jingyuan. Although there's another leak here that says first half is the March and Dunhung, and second half is Castrus and Anaxa. Well, if Rappa is gonna get a rerun, that's gonna be great for me. I've been waiting for a Rappa for so long. There's some other leaks that say that like it might just be first half Evernight Castrus, second half Dunhung Anaxa. I don't know. These leaks are gonna be like very unreliable still because we're still in the first half of 3.5. It's very unlikely that we have some concrete leaks for 3.6 yet. I really just hope Rappa is gonna get a run soon. Please. I need Rappa. My team for her is almost done at this point. Like, I have Ranmei building now. I have Fugue done. I basically have a set already for Rappa. I have Galaga done mostly. Like, all I need is Rappa. And then I need to grab all of her stuff to level her up and shit. I need Castrus and Mighty. Yeah, apparently they're gonna, like, Castrus, like, according to some of the leaks here, Castrus is gonna rerun next update. With Anaxa, which is interesting, before Mighty. We'll see. These leaks are super unreliable still. If they're gonna do like triple reruns again, I can see that. But like if they're only gonna do like one character, one rerun, I don't think we're gonna get Anaxa before Mighty. They were both pretty popular characters. And Mighty came in a bit earlier than Anaxa. We'll have to see when they come out. When we have concrete evidence of what's going to be in 3.6. What about Genshin so far? Oh. Oh, okay. This is like the third time I've seen this now. I don't know about this because okay. So apparently, again, guys, take it with a grain of salt. This is very early leaks. But apparently, 6.0 Genshin, apart from Flint's and Lauma being the new characters, Yelan and Nahida are gonna have reruns. I've seen a lot of, like, I'm seeing a lot of posts here about Yelan and Nahida running with Flint's and Lauma. I mean, it would make sense Yelan coming in due to the fact that she just got her skin. But it's funny that they run Nahida with the power, with the Nahida power creep. It's like, ah, yeah, let's bring in Nahida when we bring out the character that power creeps Nahida. Basically. Genshin, you're funny. No loser again for Yelan, I guess. Oh, it's so funny that they bring up fucking Nahida with Lauma, because like Lauma is basically power creeping Nahida in some ways. Although I did recently hear in the betas, Lauma got hit with a hefty nerf to her personal damage. Like, god damn. Shit. Notcry's new Dendro meta. Well, we have Luna Blooms as well. I would assume like Lauma is more in a position as well as a supportive buff role for Luna Bloom. And then Nefer is probably gonna be a more Luna Bloom focused DPS character. But Lauma can also do pretty big chunks of damage herself. Although that just got heavily nerfed. And I mean it. Where I think her hold skill, which was like her big damage, that scaling got reduced from like 400 down to 200%. Like they halved her damage, basically, her scaling, which is insane. Oh wait, so I have no fucking idea. This is all speculation, so I have no idea about Nefer at all. All I know is that Nefer is Dendro, but what she does, I have no fucking idea. But I would assume that maybe she might be a more damage focused character. Lauma is gonna be more the buffing support, kind of like Innefa is right now for Luna Charge, and then Flint's is gonna be the carry. I would assume that Lauma is gonna be the Luna Bloom support, with Nefer probably being a more Luna Bloom damage focused character. I cannot tell you if it's true or not. We have nothing on them yet. On Nefer. We only know Flint's and Lauma, and I know. And then other people are like, oh yeah, Sumeru Chronicle Wish might come in 6.0. But on all of the posts, there's also Nahida on the Chronicle Wish. And I don't think they've put Archons on the Chronicle banners before. And if Nahida is supposedly having her own rerun, I don't know how to feel about Nahida being on these posts here. Everything I say right now, don't take that too serious, guys. These are all leaks, subject to change. So, who the fuck knows? But yeah, one of the later versions right now of the beta for Lauma and Flynn's, like both of them got nerfed. Flynn's slightly, Lauma heavily in her personal damage. I still want to build Lauma as a DPS because I think that would be funny, but she definitely got nerfed in that regard. And then one of the weapons got nerfed as well, but that would have been an amazing Sucrose weapon. It's still gonna be decent, but it's not gonna be the bad. It's not gonna be crazy. The craftable for Notcry is still probably gonna be the better weapon for Lauma. But there was another catalyst we're supposed to be getting, and that one would have been amazing on Sucrose if it weren't for the nerf. Yeah, so I will definitely be pulling in 6.0 for Lauma. That is 100% guaranteed. At this point, I should have guaranteed Lauma. Don't know if I can get her signature weapon, probably not, but I will have guaranteed Lauma. Skipping Walani, yeah, I'm going for Lauma. I don't care. I want to make a funny Lauma DPS build, which means I probably have to run Ino just for the fact that I most likely need 2 Notcry characters in my party, or the stupidity that is Notcry stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. 6.0 Genshin, it's gonna be crazy. I would assume that the special program will probably be either end of this month or beginning of next month, since we still have about, like, I think a week on the current banners, and then we have the whole second half, which is another 20 days. So it's either gonna be towards the end of this month or the beginning of next month when we get the 6.0 live stream. Keep in mind always, the drip marketing is when they reveal new characters. In the 6.0 live stream is probably when they're gonna announce the banners for 6.0, which will definitely be before the update. Will still be up for the 6.0 banner announcements, yeah. As always, the live stream where they announce the next update's banners is always at the towards the end of the current update. So the 6.0 live stream will be at the end of 5.8, towards the end of 5.8. But the drip marketing would show the characters that are coming in 6.1. And that used to happen also before the update. So it used to be, should have happened as well in during the end of 5.8 for 6.1. But they've kind of shifted it more towards the first week of the update. So during like the first week of 6.0, we will probably get the drip marketing for the characters that are coming in 6.1. don't know who it is going to be. Is it Nefer? Is it Varka? Is it Alice? Is it Nicole? I think Columbina is probably going to be either 6.2 or 6.3. I don't think they're going to drop her that early. Same with Sandrona, maybe. I could see like, or maybe they could also drop Durin. I don't know. We'll see. The 6.1 characters, we don't know yet. I will probably, after I get Lalma, I will save for Columbina. I'm probably not gonna pick up anybody else until Columbina drops. Unless maybe Alice comes out before that, because I kind of want Alice. Just for the fact that I also have Klee, and I kind of want to have both Klee and Alice. I'd have the whole family. Klee, Alice, and Albedo. Albedo is not really like related to them, but since Albedo is basically taking care of Klee and Klee looks at him as like a bigger brother, they're kind of like family, you know. And then Alice being Klee's mother, I gotta have the whole family, you know. We will see. We have nothing yet to base off of what's gonna happen in 6.1, what characters they're gonna be put in there. We know what characters are coming in general. Like, we've seen all the characters. Durin, Alice, Nicole, Varka, Nefer, Columbina, Sandrone, all of those. But we don't know when they release. And I don't wanna make any predictions because who the fuck knows. Sandrone is gonna come out in I mean, she was in the trailer, so I would assume that she's gonna be coming out this during Notcry's release as well. I would assume. Knowing is a different story. I don't know, but I would assume. Well, we shall see what's happening. I will definitely do a Genshin stream sometime this week because of the event and the Abyss. I feel like I'm gonna be struggling a little bit with the Abyss, but I should be fine. I should be able to 36 star this Abyss. What's the Abyss? This reset very heavily favored towards Enefa. With having bonus to Lunar Charge and Electro Charge plus the Cactus boss, which heavily favors Electro Charge and Lunar Charge as well. And then second half, they kind of just pulled the whole thing as going, hey, Night Soul Align damage is increased. Have your Night Soul DPS, have your Natlan DPS ready, guys. Me with no non DPS. But it's okay. I probably will be able to do it either way, because you can kind of cheese the cactus boss in different ways that I might be able to abuse. We'll see. I should not have too many issues with this abyss if I know what I'm doing. I think I can do Gaming and Neuvillette, basically. Like Neuvillette first half, Gaming second half, and I should be fine. I hope. We will see how it goes, but sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. We will see how it goes. $19 kills. Hell yeah, Sable. Let's fucking go. I also just have not done anything for the event. I finished a new event in Honkai, that like restaurant management one, which was really interesting. I just skipped through all the dialogue because I didn't want to get spoiled, but interesting event for sure. That's all I really did. Genshin, I still need like 2% exploration, I think, on the new area. And then, yeah, Abyss, Yelan event, and yeah. Then waiting for 6.0. Whenever they do the live stream, we'll probably, hopefully, can do a reaction to it. I don't know when they will be dropping that, but time and everything, and if I'm available, but we might do a reaction stream to the 6.0 live stream when that happens. Since the updates like that, like the big like version updates like that, those are going to be some crazy live streams, I'm sure. So I should definitely try and catch that, hopefully on stream. That would be very cool. Okay, well, I think, guys, we should start with the book for today, and then we might do some Celeste. I haven't done Celeste. I haven't played Celeste in over like a week at this point. I'm gonna be so rusty, but it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be so funny. I forgot. We're still in the same chapter, right? We were close to ending the act. We were close to ending the chapter, I think, but we didn't finish it. So yeah, we're Part 19, Act 3. The Exile, formerly known as Prince. We're in the past, 5 years ago. The quote is, the prince was beside himself, and in his despair, he fell down from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns into which he fell pierced his eyes. Then he wandered quite blind about the forest, ate nothing but roots and berries, and did nothing but weep over the loss of his dearest Rapunzel. By Hans Christian Andersen, Rapunzel. Okay. Devon thought she would never love anyone as much as she'd loved Salem. Wounds healed into scars, the skin growing thick and rigid and protective, or so folks said. Along with once bittens, twice shy, time cures all, and other such cliches. The cliches were wrong. Devon was wrong. When the time came, she birthed her second child on the games room couch of Easterbrook Manor, because even after her water broke, she opted to keep playing Final Fantasy through the early contractions. Only when the pain ramped up too severely for her to hold the controller did she allow Jaro to run off for help. By then, she was lying on her side and not fit to walk anymore. And afterward, when her newborn son lay in her arms and opened his swollen eyes wide, her heart cracked open all over again, as if she'd learned nothing at all the first time around. "A boy," said the closest aunt, and murmurs of disappointment chased the announcement. A mere 3 aunts lived at the villa, out of some 40 adults. Devon knew none of their names and had exchanged not a word with any of them till now. They had attended her birth anyway, because that was what women were expected to do for each other. "A boy, amazing." Jaro had mostly flitted around the edges of the room, kept out of the way by irritated aunts. "How do you feel, Dev?" He sounded 12, and excited joy rendered his features childish. I feel... Devon looked down at the squirming bundle cradled against her chest as the aunts fussed around her, taking away the placenta and mopping up the mess. The mantra, she thought. Don't care, don't bond, think only of Salem. It didn't work. The rehearsed words fell away. She was attached, again, to another tiny creature who would snuff out her spirit when she lost him to the families. Only this time things were harder because he was a boy. Horror. It might grow up to be something worse than a bride, a knight, or even a husband, or both. A hurter of women and a hunter of princesses. And still she would adore him, hopelessly, pine for his loss, endlessly. For here was the thing that no fairy tale would ever admit, but that she understood in that moment. Love was not inherently good. Certainly it could inspire goodness. She didn't argue that. Poets would tell you that love was electricity in your veins. It could light a room. That it was a river in your soul to lift you up and carry you away. Or fire inside the heart to keep you warm. Yet electricity could also fry. Rivers could drown. And fires could burn. Love could be destructive. Punishingly, fatally destructive. And the other thing, a real bloody clincher of it all, was that the good and the bad didn't go served up equally. If love were a balance of electric lights and electric jolts, two sides of an equally weighted coin, then fair enough, she could deal. That wasn't how it worked though. Some love was just the bad. All the time, an endless parade of electrified bones and drowned lungs and hearts that burned to a cinder inside the cage of your chest. And so she looked down at her son and loved him with a kind of twisted, complex feeling that came from having never wanted him in the first place. She loved him with bitterness, and she loved him with resignation. She loved him, though she knew no good could ever come from such a bond. Dev, Jacko said, recalling her to the moment. She burst into tears. Spooked by the noise, her newborn opened his mouth wide and began to wail. From out of his mouth flopped a tube-like tongue, curling and uncurling weakly. Oh no. The blonde aunt covered her mouth with both hands, like a distressed Victorian heroine. The others peered over, faces immediately paling. A heated discussion broke out between the other two, something about who would have to inform the men and how long they should wait. Vision blurred with tears, Devon found herself trying to tuck her crying son's tongue back into his mouth, as if she could tuck away in him the things other people found awful and hide them out of sight. The tubular tongue curled around her finger like a warm spaghetti strand, and he settled at once, soothed by suckling like any other child. She remained immobile, tears evaporating as the aunts argued behind her. Shit, Jaro said. Matley's going to bloody flip when he gets back. But he looked worried rather than disgusted, and she was grateful for that. Can you blame him? What a waste, said the oldest of the women. I'd best let the knights know. Another one for their dragon pens. Poor little monster. I don't care what Medley or anyone else thinks, Devon said, and was met by shocked faces. My son is beautiful. This child will grow up to consume minds, said one of the women who'd been arguing. Our concern is not with how he looks, but what he will grow up into. I thought we didn't care about humans, Devon snapped. Why are you bothered if he eats a few? And he hasn't eaten anyone yet, he's only a baby. Eventually, he'll wean off that milk and grow into his hunger, said the first aunt, nostrils flaring. Dragons do not care what they eat or who, as long as they do. Your son would eat you, given half the chance. redemption. Here's the need, not the want, said the older woman. He will crave mines all his life, no matter how much redemption you give him. Dragons are never safe, can never be trusted, only managed. He's still beautiful, Devon said. He's still mine. The baby fussed again, no longer conned by suckling a mere finger, and she eased him to her breast. All the things she learned to do from having Salem. What is his name? Did Matley pick one? He didn't latch the way Salem did, and the sensation was odd, but she could get used to it. It doesn't get an Easterbrook name. Devon twisted her neck around to see the sight of Matley, who had stalked in silently and now stood behind her. He wore white slacks and a white shirt, painfully searing as ever in that shadowed room. It doesn't get an Easterbrook name, he said again, tense strain cording his shoulders and neck. It'll get whatever the knights give it. The room descended into awkward stillness, and Devon lay rigid, conscious of her bare legs smeared with blood, of her bare chest and sweat-stained face. Matley's presence had somehow rendered her vulnerability obscene. She felt absurdly like a sinful Eve standing before God and realizing her own nakedness for the first time. Jaro unzipped his hoodie and draped it over her and the baby with a muttered, "Here, don't want you both get cold." "Thanks," she whispered. The oldest aunt was talking. "Matt, this isn't the time," she said, palms pressed together like a pretend nun. "The girl hasn't had a moment of rest." "Isn't the time for a father to see his son?" Unpleasantness warped his features. What a waste. 3 years I'll have to spend feeding and clothing this thing, being extorted by the bloody Raven scars, only for the knights to take it away at the end and use it as a prop for their own power. What happened to the days where we could choose what happened to our own dragons? He should have died in birth. What the fuck? These people are insane. Devon was speechless with fury. Matley caught her glare and narrowed his eyes. "God's sakes," he said. "Was it so incredibly difficult to squirt out a girl? You managed it for the Winterfields." "Sex is determined by the man's sperm," Devon retorted, tongue getting the best of her. But so what because it was bloody fucking true. "Don't blame me for your failing." He slapped her so hard, her vision went black for a split second. She fell back against the sofa, arms still clenched around her son. Her ears, keened like cutlery, had been dropped in the tile floor, not helped by the shrieking aunts in the background. Can we kill this fucking guy? First, he says my son should have died in birth, and now he's slapping his wife so hard she blacks out. What the fuck? Matley locked his hands around her throat. Devon should have let go of her son to fight, but instead she held the child tighter, alarmed that he might attack the boy instead of her. She was already weak and exhausted from birth, and now she couldn't breathe. Tightness and ache radiated from her throat into her chest, her head, and a hollow behind her eyes. Jarrow barreled in despair, his shorter stature and lighter frame shouting something she couldn't hear because her ears still rang. Matley jerked away to fend off his younger brother, and Devon gagged, gasping for air as he released her. The last thing she saw before passing out was the Easterbrook aunts descending in a flock on the two men, trying to pull them apart. Many hours later, Devon woke up in her own bed. Her throat felt like someone had fed it through a paper shredder, and the swollen parts of her neck felt hot to the touch. It had become an act of bravery. Swallowing had become an act of bravery. At least Matley was gone. She hated him, possibly more than she loved her children. I could sense that loathing building in herself, the way a gale gathered pace into a storm. She lay for a minute or two and imagined her husband swinging from his expensive chandeliers by one of his own silk ties, only to become annoyed when the fantasy gave her no satisfaction. Hate was losing its emotional edge, becoming a common thing she lived with instead of a treasure she nursed. Her arm was going numb, and Devon looked down to find a boy nestled next to her, fast asleep in the crook of her elbow. He bore no injury, perfect, pristine, unharmed by his father's spurt of anger. She freed her trapped limb and turned over to catch sight of Jarrow slouched in the bay window of her room, fiddling with a handheld console. The words Game Boy were printed underneath its tiny green screen. He hadn't yet noticed her small movements, but then she hadn't noticed his till now. He could be so still when focused on his games. She tried to say hello, but all that came out was a cough. The fire in her throat cranked up a notch. "You're awake," Jarrow exclaimed, twisting around. "I'll get you a drink." He disappeared into the bathroom. Somehow he found a cup, filled it from the sink, and brought her water. She drank and thought she knew how sword eaters must feel. When she was alone, she pointed to the faint bruises on his face, needing to know if he was hurt, and how badly, from that tussle with his brother. "Don't worry about me. I'll live. But listen, I have a better way for us to talk." He dug out a slim booklet and presented it tentatively. "Might be a bit of work to eat it, but on the other hand, your throat will take weeks to heal up. I'd shred it for you if I could, but then you wouldn't learn anything by eating it. Empty calories." Devon ran a thumb along the booklet. It had no cover in the traditional sense, just printed pages on stiff paper on which a title was printed. The Morse Code, Learning and Practice, Revised Edition. She raised both eyebrows in polite confusion. "My sister, Vic." He tugged an earlobe, frowning with uneasy remembrance. "She had this interest in Morse code. Also spy thrillers, retro British mystery stuff. We used to send messages when we were kids. Mess about, playing James Bond. Useful for us." Understanding dawned. He wanted her to communicate in a way that mimicked writing without requiring writing. A language of sounds that did not need her voice. And Devon smiled and squeezed his hand. Glad you approve. Jaro brought her a bowl of water and page by painstaking page tore each sheet, soaked it to soften, and passed it to her to eat. Not too wet, not too wet, nor shredded. The information would be inaccessible to her if too much damaged before she could absorb it. The pamphlet had a sparky flavor, the way she imagined static would taste. Not bitter, simply neutral. Slightly metallic, though there was no metal in the ink or paper. She ate slowly, pushing through the agony swallowing caused her. Trying to write out the dots and dashes doesn't work, by the way. Our brains still register that as writing, because they're just stand-ins for letters. He said. But tapping works. We kind of cheat. Devon rolled her eyes. Fucking collector and their rules for us. She squinted at her fingertips. Was it tapping hurts finger? Oh, that reminds me. Nearly forgot. Jaro reached into a pocket and fished out the thimble, slipping it onto her finger. Now you can do it more easily, eh? The gesture startled her. It was oddly intimate, reminiscent of a groom slipping a ring onto his bride, except she'd never done that. The families eschewed wedding rings, since their marriages were not intended to last. But it was very fairy tale-esque all the same. Princesses in books were forever doing things with thimbles. She caught his palm and tapped, "Thank you." Isn't it great? How easy was that? Almost as good as writing. His grin was the brightest thing she'd seen in years. You're very welcome, by the way. Slow down a little. I'm rusty with translating Morse in my head. Slower. Okay. Her next message she regretted, because it stole the smile right off his face. Where Matley? Gone on a holiday or something. He wouldn't meet her eye now. He'll keep clear of you if you keep clear of him. So there was a hard line that even the Easterbrooks wouldn't allow one of their sons to cross. Devon wasn't sure whether to be relieved they placed any limits, or furious that the limit wasn't more reasonable. Both, probably. But are you okay? I'm fine. We scuffled a bit. Devon didn't believe him. Their fight had looked a lot more serious than a plain scuffle. She started to tap that out when he held up a hand to forestall her. Hey, listen. I'm glad you woke because I actually came here to give you this. Jaro put his Game Boy in her lap. I hear it gets proper boring looking after babies. This can keep you occupied while you're doing all that nursing, eh? Doubt you'll get down to the games room much until your throat heals. The console rested in her grip, lighter and denser than it looked. But Game Boy is yours. I wanted you to have mine, because I think of us as real family, not the family. And siblings, give each other stuff. Vic was your family too, she tapped after a moment. Birth sister and real sister. He shot her a guarded look, but nodded. I miss her. She'd have liked you. Jaro, where is Vic? She struggled with the marriages, the children like you did. She couldn't accept things, made a fuss. He sighed. She got on Madley's nerves and he sent her away in the end. The families like to do that when folks cause problems, send them somewhere else to live, where they don't have friends or support networks. His eyes were red but still dry. Call her sometimes. It's not the same though. so sorry. Her apology sounded stupid and trite in Morse code. It would have sounded stupid however she conveyed it. Vic bought the same lie about keeping her head down and getting to see her kids again. The truth devastated her when she realized. The electric firelight illuminated his curls like a halo. I told you ages ago that they're not going to let you see your children again. I wasn't trying to frighten you. I was trying to warn you. Women can travel a bit and go to the parties. No one is going to let the former bride anywhere near the manors where they were a scion. That was why you wanted me to run away with you, she said, filled with bitter resignation. Yeah. The infant startled awake with a wail. Devon gathered him close to murmur timeless reassurances that she'd learned from books in lieu of a real parent. He fussed a little before settling against her shoulder, and she held him close, palm to the back of that small, fuzzy head. Perhaps she should have been grateful to the knights, because if they did not exist to keep dragons alive, then none would be saved. But he couldn't summon up any gratitude for such grudging care. Did anyone hold the dragon children when they were afraid? It seemed unlikely. Dragons were raised in barracks. That was common knowledge. Beyond that, the specifics eluded her. She buried her face in the dark curls, seeking comfort in the familiar scent. This boy, taken away. Not even to a life of relative ease and privilege as hers had been, or as Salem's would be, but to an existence that was categorically and unequivocally bad. In fairy tales, the princess got everything. True love, happy ending, their children to keep, and the monsters or witches or ogres defeated. Life didn't work out like that. No one would write Devon a happy ending, and the universe did not owe her a daughter. The best she could hope for was to keep her son, or else lose both the children entirely. An image filled her head of a 10-year-old Salem waiting forlornly in the Winterfield courtyard for a mother who would not be arriving. Growing sullener with the years at that betrayal and the abandonment. The worst alternative? Luton had fed Devon nothing but lies, and Salem had already forgotten her mother existed, as Devon had forgotten her own. It hurt to think of that. Oh my god. It hurt in places and in ways she didn't have words for. But it did not hurt as much as abandoning the boy in her arms to an even worse fate. She had to choose between them, and it was no choice at all. Salem was already lost through Devon's failure, and her son needed her more. When he was settled at her breast, she reached across, tapping thimble to wood. Help me. Jarrow blinked. Help you? How? What with? Help me take him to Ireland, like you offered before. His mouth opened and closed. I know he is dragon, and that changes things, but if we can steal some redemption and... Dev. The bed spring sighed as he shifted the weight. You have the worst timing, you know that? A thumb of fear beat in her chest. What do you mean? I'm being sent to live with the Gladstones too, he said wearily. The same chalet they exiled Vig to live in, just off the main house. He flushed at her appalled expression. It could be worse. They were going to send me to the Knights, but the Knights don't want me because I'm too old to train. Thank God for that, Mercy. It was still her fault. He was being sent away, she thought, and felt sick. He was being punished for defending her from Matley, as Ramsay had once been punished for following her lead. If only she'd held her tongue both times. You're here to say goodbye, she said, engulfed by sudden rising panic. The Game Boy is your goodbye present. Yes, I'm sorry. His turn for the apologies. I mean it when I said you could reach out. You changed your mind, but I can't do what you're asking. I'm leaving today. You shouldn't be here at all. Only I couldn't go without checking on you first. But why teach me Morse code if you're just leaving anyway? Someone pounded on the door, calling Jarrow's name, and they both jumped. Just a minute, he shouted over one shoulder, and then turned back to her. Because you can't talk, daft woman. I've asked a couple of the aunts to eat Morse code books too. They'll be able to understand your requests and look after you across the next few weeks until that throat heals up, alright? No. She wanted to scream. It wasn't alright. Will I see you again? Definitely. I promise. Only you might have to wait until, your son has gone to the other dragons. His smile was sad and sickly. I'll travel and find you, and all this is over. That is years from now, she tapped frantically. I will not see you for ages. I know. I'm so sorry, Dev. Really, I am. Everything was happening too fast. All her doors were closing, her options receding. Even her last resort, dangerous flight with a child in tow, was a life raft withdrawn, leaving her floundering. She was about to be alone in a hostile house with a child she could not keep. Again. The person outside knocked harder, shouted louder and more impatiently. Shit, I have to go. He bent to give her a gentle hug, careful of the baby, and said her in her ear, listen, if you ever feel like ditching the families with or without your kids, and get in touch. I'll help if I can, I swear. She wanted to tap out. Oh, I can't write, I can't call. There was no time. Another Easterbrook brother stuck his head in, saying, come on, mate, we don't have all day. Bye, Tara said again, and left with the last of Devon's light. Man! That's the end of part 19. Fuck those families, bro. Fuck those families, bro. I hate how they treat the people like that. If you just misbehave, we're just gonna fucking exile you. Okay? Oh no, my son is a mind eater. He should have died at birth. Shut the fuck up. God, this book is making me angry. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's making me angry. For sure. All right. Part 20 is called House of Saints. The quote: "Though I find the collector's story to be wholly absurd, I struggle to conjure a better theory. Aside from the teeth, eaters do look identical to humans. Yes, they cannot interbreed with us and have strange organs, extreme strength, and dark vision. They also consume either books or minds, processing that information in ways that defy all known biology, and they decompose in a manner suggestive of, dare I say, magic. In truth, to the naked eye, they are profoundly a magical species. And if I must choose between believing in the collector or believing in magic, then I am reluctantly inclined to go with the former." By Amaranta Patel, Paper and Flesh, A Secret History. All right, we're in the present day now. So we're back to Devon being on the run with her 5-year-old and that chick from the Ravenscar family. Their little grey car crested the heather hills of Scotland and began needling its way through winding paths to the valley town of Innerleithen below. Devon, looking out the window, was mesmerized. Moors undulated for miles toward the north. Snags of cloud tumbled low across the silver blue sky. Twisted trees populated gnarly slopes, snow blanketing the small stone houses. Wide banks by a sweeping river dotted with optimistic fishers, even in this weather, wearing waders. Picture perfect, like one of those charity shop postcards done to capture British nostalgia. She rested her head against the cool glass. Do the residents of the town know? Know what? About the family who moved into a derelict old mansion a couple years ago, did it up a bit, and now have a locally run artisan brewery? Sure, they know. Working in the open. Interesting tactic. Don't know what you mean, Hester said. We're law-abiding citizens aside from a bit of tax dodging and some illicit drug production. But that's nothing compared to the Winterfields and their dodgy law firm, or the Easterbrooks and their human trafficking. Can't argue with that. They drove through a juncture, past a sign that suggested turning left to find St. Rowan's Primary School. Hester steered straight through town, heading for its south end. Will I have friends someday? Ty said, eyes on a receding school sign. If I have enough redemption to live without hunger? Evan looked at him in surprise. This small, intense figure, so precautiously intelligent and aware for his years. The idea of managing his friendships, helping him to navigate those social situations seemed overwhelming. More so than killing knights or luring humans home. Come to think of it, Devon herself had never made friends, just played with her siblings and cousins. How did one make friends, let alone keep them? Mysterious. Then the unbidden thought, maybe she'd find out with Hester. Stupid that. He wasn't planning to stay. I hope you will have friends, wherever you end up, Hester said. You will always have to guard against your hunger, but you seem safe enough with your mother. I'm confident you can learn to be around others without risk. Oh, okay. How long are we staying? Kai said, sitting up a little straighter. If Killock likes us and we like him, can we live here forever? Let's take this one step at a time, Devon said. Make sure Killock does like us. She already knew she wouldn't like him, a combination of gut instinct and lifelong experience of family patriarchs. The center of Inner Lathan peeled away, slushed and salted roads melding back into rolling, snow-slung forests. They crossed the River Tweed over a long, low bridge. Devon could not help but scan its waters for evidence of riverine islands, as Jaro had specified. Her view wasn't good enough from the car to pick out any such landmass. A mile or so past the bridge, they approved a vintage-style sign reading Square House, with a white arrow pointing down a smaller road. We're here, safe and sound, Hester said. She followed the sign, turning off the main road and onto the grounds of what was, presumably, Tequila itself. They drove slowly down a long driveway, sculpted with green lawns and shadowed by ancient trees. Off to one side were a collection of smaller buildings, mostly wooden, and what looked like a rather elegant garden of extraordinary size. Directly ahead sprawled a white building, as big as any family manor, and more fortified, she thought. Iron gates, concrete posts, small windows, a house that had seen conflict. There was a long history of fighting between Scotland and England. You don't have much security, Devon observed. Don't you worry the families will find you? The families are barely looking for us. If anything, I think they were relieved when we disappeared. Solved a lot of problems for them. Hester cruised through a pair of iron gates, slowing the Ford to a crawl. As for the knights, even if they came calling, a few locks on the gates wouldn't help. Nor being found is our first and best line of defense. And not being found is our first and best line of defense. I guess so. Devon thought about Hester in the train station, the accuracy of her gun. If the rest of the Ravenscars were similarly fierce, then the knights would have a fight on their hands. Everything with your clan seems to be complicated, including you and your place in it. You have no idea. Hester parked up on the gravel, yanking the handbrake. I'm going to introduce you to Killock today. When we first heard you were looking for us, it was his idea to bring you in and offer sanctuary. However, you will have to convince him you're safe, trustable, and genuine. Are you willing to answer his questions? There are gaps in your story that we're curious about. If he wants to know how I escaped the Easterbrooks, then I am willing enough to share, Devon said, watching dust skip through the slanted sunbeams. I'm not ready to talk about my daughter with strangers, though. That's all in the past, anyway. I'm sure that will be fine. Hester unclipped her seatbelt and took a breath. Listen, when we go inside, you are going to find out things about me that I have concealed. Please understand that I have never hidden the truth out of maliciousness. I've lied about myself only because Killock asked me to be circumspect. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't make any sense right now, but it will very soon. The back of Devon's neck was prickling from alarm. I'm not liking the sound of this. We should hurry. they'll know we're here and will be expecting us. Hester got out of the car and walked across the driveway toward the heavy doors. Devon exchanged a long and troubled look with Kai, who shrugged. They both got out of the and followed Hester. No going back now. Entering Turquoise House felt strangely familiar to Devon, as if she had been there already and seen it all before. In one sense, she effectively had. The Ravenscars wrangled their way into an ancient estate home, blending British tradition with Eternites. The whole setup was very family. Whatever the beef was with their deceased father, ingrained custom lingered. The house itself bore a legacy of violence. Iron studs covered a solid oak door, which Devon recognized as a form of reinforcement against invading English soldiers. It was old and strong enough to withstand a soldier axe blow or two. The hallways surprised her. Narrow, low-ceilinged, built of whitewashed stone. Not regal or royal, just built for war. A series of servant bells hung above one of the beams, different sizes and tones. Someone had set up a small native nativity scene on the entry table. A faded Mary kneeling over her wooden infant in this tiny manger. Carved animals clustered around. Wise men loomed awkwardly in a corner, and Joseph stood with blank-faced reserve to one side, his face so worn the features were flat. A tightness formed in Devon's throat. The story had a resonance that drew her in. That of an outcast mother taking shelter in unlikely places. Devon was no virgin. Hester was no Joseph, and Kai was hardly the next Messiah. Still, the spirit of it spoke to her all the same. Yes, thought I heard you returning. A man emerged from the furthest room, shuffling out to meet them. He was in his 60s and of Asian Indian descent. Thick glasses perched on his nose, and a solid walking cane in one hand. We were starting to worry when you still hadn't come in. Saw you all over the news this morning. Always wanted to be famous, Hester said with a wry smile. Is Locke around? Devon's attention was wholly captured by the man with glasses. Something about him was overwhelmingly familiar. Memories clawing at her urgently. Killock is up in the drawing room with the others. The newcomer glanced at Devon, and she saw the same recognition in his expression without any of her confusion. Is that her? The Fairweather woman? It is, but she can't stay for chat, Hester said. I'm sorry, Mani, but I really need to see Killock first. Mani, short for Miranda Patel, wrote stories for the telly, Devon blurted out. All the journalists who came to Fairweather Manor. Who? I said, confused, while Hester stared and started in shock. So I am. Mani seemed unruffled by her outburst, a far cry from the nervy journalist Devon has met as a child. When there was talk of bringing in Devon Fairweather to this house, I did wonder if it would be the same girl I'd met all those years ago. And here you are. Fate is a funny old mistress. Devon's mouth was open. She shut it. More than 20 years had passed, and yet she could see in the aging lines of his features a glimpse of the younger reporter he'd once been. How do you know each other? Hester said, bewildered. Her family are the reason why I came to your family, Mani said, gaze not leaving Devon's face. I stumbled onto Fairweather property many years ago while investigating a news story. Got myself caught by a rather younger Devon, then sent up to Ravenscaw Manor, and here I am, still. He offered a bleak smile. I'm so sorry, Devon said, awash with mortification. I had no idea what my uncle was truly like back then, or what he'd do to you. You were only a child. I don't carry a grudge. If not you, someone else would have found me. Mani's face was impassive, and she could not tell if he truly meant what he said. At any rate, I'm here now among these. He trailed off, adjusted his glasses, and peered at them both. Does she know, Hester? Have you told her what you are? Told me what? Devon said while Hester answered simultaneously. No, not yet. Killock's request to hold back the details. What is everyone talking about? Kai complained. Mani took off his glasses, cleaned them on his shirt, and put them back on. Best we all go up to the drawing room, I think. I agree, that would be the best, Hester said, sounding strained. My brother will explain everything clearly. Do follow me if you like. Mani turned to begin making his way up the stairs, and Devon bit back a frustrated retort and followed after. Mani led them up a curving stone staircase, the hewn steps slick from centuries of use, and then along another hall and toward a set of ornate doors from which laughter and conversation leaked out. From this angle, it was impossible to see into the room. This way, Mani shuffled through the doors, without waiting to see if they followed. Oh my god. Why am I so fucking sleepy, huh? Hester put her hand on Devon's arm. Be careful of Killock. Watch your step around him. He withdrew her hand and strode after Mani into the room. Wait, Devon said, darting after her. Why do I need... She stumbled to a halt. Just inside, Kai crashed into her from behind. A kaleidoscope of luxury greeted them. Red carpets, painted crossbeams, and lavish furniture. Tables scattered with books, paintings on every wall, long dead human nobility. Marble mantles above a roaring fire. A harpsichord nestled demurely in its own nook, inked all over with flourishes and Latin phrases along its wooden body, while a man whose face she couldn't see played an elegant classical piece across its keys. In the far corner, a granddaughter clock marked the loss of time. A dozen or so people were gathered in here. All of them were chatting and joking, attention taken up with conversation and board games. Presents, drinks, and party favors littered one of the tables, along with paper Christmas crowns and playing cards. Scented candles burned out the smell of berries and frosted evergreens. Everyone was eating. They browsed tables of books, peeling away through the tough covers to eat the softer paper within, like diners shelling out lobster. A meal for those who could consume paper but also had no book teeth. And the tongues. She could hear them in the soft lisping in their conversation, so reminiscent of Kai. Could see them, glimpsing the coils of flesh in their mouths as they chewed and spoke. Mind eaters, Devon said, dumbfounded. You're all mind eaters. Conversation dropped as the entire room turned in Devon's direction. Kai went rigid. Personally, said the man at the harpsichord, his voice loud in the silence, I've always detested the term mind eater. It's rather crude and outdated. Devon narrowed her eyes. What term do you prefer then? But it was Hester who answered. People. We're all just people. We, she'd said, as if she were one of them. No, they. And Devon realized, with a jolt, that she'd never seen Hester eat a book during their journey. Not one single time. My sister says people, where I would say saints. The man behind the harpsichord stood up at last, no longer hidden behind its varnished frame. Tall but slender, with dark, reddish hair and a tight ponytail. Gray slacks, gray turtleneck, gray eyes too. Welcome back, Hez. Devon was still reeling. Too many shocks in a row. Every surviving member of the Ravenscar household was a mind eater, Hester included. But how and why were there so many? Families didn't keep their mind eater children. This was, after all, the entire purpose of the Knights, to prevent mind eaters living free and unchecked, with nothing but their own willpower keeping the hunger at bay. She was conscious of Kai clutching her hand tightly and squeezed back. Perhaps the Ravenscars had somehow hidden their mind-eater children away rather than sending them to the Knights, like every other family. Yet that raised his own questions. Where were the book eaters, for instance? Why didn't they have any book eaters at all among their numbers? Merry Christmas, Locke, Hester said, giving a deferential curtsy. Aside from a difference of hair color, she and the Ravenscars shared a strong resemblance. The same lines of jaw, the same broad collarbones, the same long-fingered hands, and slightly snubbed noses. We've had a difficult journey, and I'm absolutely ravenous. But I've brought mother and child in safely. Devon, watching her, was struck by another uncomfortable thought. If Hester was a mind eater, where was her tongue? How had she hidden it? So I see. Killock Ravenscar swept Devon with his gaze from top to toe. A fair weather princess in the flesh. Come to join us in lonely exile here. He muttered under his breath, inexplicably in sing-song, until the Son of God appears. With enormous mental effort, Devon pushed aside the shock she felt and pulled herself together. She stood before with scalpel gaze, acutely conscious of her bare, filthy feet, her torn jeans with the mud dragged edges, her crumpled blouse that reeked of 3 days worth of sweat, and probably alcohol. A long way from the manicured girl who had once stepped from a chalky limousine in a spotless Romanian dress. But it wasn't a bad thing. She was stronger and wiser than her younger self, and strange men no longer frightened her. If you're going to tell me that I'm tall, Devon said, I just don't. I'm aware. Monty made a choking sound, and Hester drew a sharp breath. But Killock only laughed and held out his hand. Miss Fairweather. May I call you Devon? Titles are so formal. Please allow me to welcome you to Traquair, without any comments about your height. Cheers, I appreciate it. She shook his hand, warm and dry like his sister's. My son needs to eat before we go anywhere. I came here because I was told he could have redemption and never need to feed off humans again. Yes, your son. Killock shifted his gaze downward. Hello, young man. What's your name? Kai Devonson. He remained half hidden behind Devon's back. I don't get a family surname because I'm a mind eater, so Devon, make one for me. Interesting choice. Kai is a knight name. Did you know that? Sir Kai from Arthurian legend, though we pronounce it differently these days. Killock stooped to his level. Pleased to meet you, real knight who is not a family knight. You look like your mother, if you don't mind me saying. Kai clutched his Game Boy. I don't mind. Killock reached into a pocket, unscrewed a small plastic bottle, and handed him a chewable pill. The gift of redemption. My own supply. Thank you. Kai's face lit up as he snatched the pill from the older man's palm. He hesitated and then said, Is it true? You're really a house of saints, Killock said. Again, with a strange choice of words. Saints was not a term Devon would have thought to reach for. She might love her son. She didn't revere him as holy. Hester, meanwhile, stood pensive, hands on hips and gaze on the floor. The warning she'd given earlier to watch your step was going off in Devon's head like a siren. Killock was smooth, polite, even charming, and yet every time he spoke, it made the back of her neck itch. There was a hidden edge to everything he said or did, a kind of intensity that unbalanced her. Killock straightened his spine. Having welcomed you here, I will admit I remain unconvinced that you can be trusted. My experiences with the families have not been good. We have escaped here to live our own lives, and I cannot allow anything to threaten that. My experiences with other people, full stop, haven't been good. Devon thought he sounded very much like a traditional patriarch, that lofty turn of phrase. Evocative of some Victorian nobleman. We share a common need and a common enemy. Does that carry any weight for you? It does. He sketched a bow that she found slightly ridiculous. I will admit, I'm curious to hear about the demise of your husband. Aside from you and me, I have never met another exile from the families. If it would put your mind at ease, I am willing to explain how Matley Easterbrook died and how I escaped. How he died, Killock said, suddenly shrewd. Not how you killed him? Hester tilted her head. Yes, how he died. be still, be calm, be focused, Devon told herself. It's a long explanation. My only request is that Kai remain elsewhere. He doesn't need to hear this. The Ravenscar siblings exchanged glances, and Hester said, "Are you alright with being separated from your son?" "If I don't answer your question, I'll have far bigger problems," Devon said. "And the things I will talk about may cause him serious distress. He already knows a lot of this and does not need to hear it repeated." "I don't want to listen," Kai said, holding up the Game Boy. "I want to play Mario while you talk. I don't mind waiting. I wait all the time." Killock's features settled into a contemplative stillness. "As you like. We will find someone to sit with your son. In the meantime, let's adjourn to the library." Okay, that was part 20. That's curious so far, I would say. It's interesting to see that they made it to the Ravenscar Manor now. And Killock, I don't know how to feel about him yet too much. He is sus still to me, but he is an interesting character. It was a cool twist to see that every member of the Ravenscar family seems to be a mind eater, which was definitely unexpected. But yeah, pretty cool. You know, guys, I think because of me that is fucking yawning like crazy today, holy shit, we will keep the book short. We're just gonna finish the act, which is one more part, which is like 8 pages. And then we're gonna be ending up with the book for today. We're probably gonna do something else for a bit, and then we hop on Celeste. We might do some karaoke. I might have like a song or two I want to sing. Maybe. We'll see. If not, probably a little bit of Celeste. Maybe a bit of Spyro. If it happens, happens. Alright. Part 21. Sadly, that means we're not getting to see and to hear about how Matley came to his demise, because again, we are now 5 years back in the past again. But we'll see that next time, next week. I have been on a weird sleep schedule, to be fair. Like, I woke up at 3 in the morning and I'm still up somehow. So definitely keeping it a bit shorter today. I am getting a bit sleepy. I'm sure for next week I will be on a better schedule, hopefully. Wish me luck, guys. My week has been super rough, but we're doing our best. Alright, Part 21. Monster. The quote for this one: "There is love in the likes of which you've never seen. There's rage in me, the likes of which should never escape. If I am not satisfied in the one, I will indulge the other." By from Frankenstein, Kenneth Barang, 1994. The physical damage cleared up in a couple of weeks, but the psychological damage lingered on. The sight of hands, any hands, made Devon's throat tighten. a strange and highly inconvenient trigger that she couldn't seem to shake. As Jarrow had promised, aunts came by every day to assist her with the newborn. Devon tapped out terse messages, grateful for the communication he'd given her while the tendons in her throat slowly healed. A few weeks later, after she was able to speak, one of the aunts came to inform Devon that Matley wished to see her. "He knows where my room is," Devon said, soothing her fussy baby. "Why do I need to go anywhere?" The aunt just shook her head. "He wishes to see you in the games room." A chill ran through her. "When?" "Right now, naturally." Naturally, Devon thought sourly. She wrapped the baby in a sling, wondering all the while what Matley wanted with Jarrow's private refuge, and followed the aunt to the other side of the house to the games room. Except it wasn't the games rooms anymore. A new brass plate was fixed to the wall, etched with the words, "Control Room." The door stood open, lights flickering within. Devon stepped inside. The stench of cabling, dust, and chrome filled her nose. The air tasted of static. Someone had boarded up the windows. The couch that had been her home across pregnancy and childbirth was missing, as were the shelves, consoles, game boxes, controllers, everything. A series of 30-odd television screens had replaced the entertainment center, everything trailing dark wires and jacked into a large console. Each screen displayed a different grainy image of various locations around the estate. Fields, orchards, driveway, dining room, libraries, the hallway outside Devon's room, on the centermost screen, but not her actual quarters. She was swept with a sense of waste for Vic's lovely games collection, chucked out like trash. She'd never get to know the ending of Final Fantasy now. Strange how it bothered her to think about it. At least the Game Boy had been saved. That was secure in her room, hidden under her bed. The baby began to fuss in his sling, breaking Devon out of her stupor. She shushed the boy, jiggling him up and down. "There you are, hardy as ever." Devon turned around to find Matley Easterbrook emerging from what had once been the little kitchenette. That too had been converted. The tables stripped out and the cupboards overflowing with spare electrical gear. No more maps, no more detailed escape plans. "What is all this?" Devon said, whimpering baby held close against her chest. "Why am I here?" Matley folded his arms, flickering screens casting patterns across his face. "I suppose you know that your child is destined for the Knights." How well she knew. "What of it?" "I asked if they'd take the boy earlier," he said with a disgruntled snort. "But they don't want him. Too young to live off of anything but milk, and apparently it is difficult to dose infants with redemption. They prefer you to nurse as long as you can." "Why do they have to take him at all?" she said, desperation making her bold. "Maybe I can work, pay for his redemption costs? My uncle might be willing to." "It's not about the cost," he snapped. "Mind Eaters cannot be allowed to live freely without anyone keeping them in check. They revert to their nasty feeding otherwise." A slight shudder ran through him. Devon knew that, had already known it was pointless to ask. It still hurt to hear the answers spoken again. If you'll let me finish, he went on. I consider you a risky guest, giving you history. One liable to spend the next 36 months plotting hotly to run away. Madley pushed past her, coming to stand at the console with its many screens. I want to preempt any such idiocy on your part by informing you that I've upgraded the security for this manor. Substantially upgraded. He pressed a series of keys. The screens compiled into one single video footage display across their conjoined surfaces. The control room itself, with Devon standing stiffly in the heart of it. It's a state-of-the-art electronic in-house security system. I have given you privacy in your room, but most of the house is wired and watched, as are the gates to this estate, and I'm the only one who knows the access number to this console. Good luck climbing out of this tower, princess. I know you to think of me. Sarcasm kept her grounded against shock. I'm flattered to be worth the time. This isn't just for you. You're not that special. He retorted with his usual pettiness and dropped into a swivel chair. I was going to upgrade the security anyway. Typical Madley, she thought. Every scrap of satisfaction had to belong to him. If you don't need me for anything and there's nothing to do here, then I'm going for a walk. He needed to think, process. One last thing, he said, and held up a thimble. Her thimble, the one Jaro had given her to communicate with. Still need this? It's mine. Jaro gave it to me to communicate with, but you can do now without it. He crushed the thimble flat between forefinger and thumb and set it down pointedly on the table. What a fucking asshole! Devon stared at the misshapen disc that had been Jaro's gift and squeezed her son tight to her chest. You're free to go, by the way, Madley said. Be aware you'll have an escort every time you leave the house for the next 3 years. Think of him as a replacement Jaro, eh? He snorted. Try not to act too suspicious on your walks. He's authorized to neutralize you if need be. What the fuck? What the fuck? His words left her cold. As prophesied, an unfamiliar man was waiting in the hallway as Devon left the control room. He was short but brawny and snorted an enormous plastic earplug and sported an enormous plastic earplug, chewing hard on nicotine gum. A human, and therefore surely less strong than her. But he was also armed with taser, blackjack, and walkie-talkie. Likely other weapons too that she couldn't see. She remembered all too well how tasers felt. Going for a walk, are we? Earplug snapped his chewing gum loudly. No, Devon said and retreated to her room. Earplug followed her all the way to her room, to her door, but did not come inside, nor object when she drew the bolts. Thank heavens for that, at least. In the privacy of her own quarters, Devon curled up to the window seat to nurse her ever-hungry child, trying to think. The manor had hardly been a playground before. The Easterbrooks, with their servants and seedy illicit business, were fond of security. Matley's upgrades only made that worse and tied everything to him personally. The codes stored in his mind because he could not write them even if he wished to. He couldn't do this because, like Ike, he was a patriarch, a role he'd won through a complex system of votes in which women could not participate. There was also nothing she could do to change her situation. The system was too big, too vast, everything out of her reach and all obstacles impossible to overcome. If she left, they'd hunt her. If she escaped, her son would starve without redemption. If she fed him sans drugs, that meant finding human folk for him to eat and then watching him go insane. And all of that was predicated on the assumption she could escape at all, much less survive in human society with a hostile family on the prowl. Devon looked at her sleepy, squashed face little boy, cold wind at her back, and decided that she would enjoy every single day she had with him until those days ran out. And when they finally came for him, these knights, these men of the families, wrapped in their own arrogance and wielding cruelty like weapons, she would fight. It'd be the death of her, but perhaps death was the only ending she had a right to claim. After all her years of cowardice and subservience. God damn it. Time ran away with itself for the next 2 years. Devon breathed in days and breathed out nights, suffused in the moment. Long orchard walks blended with even longer afternoons spent reading or eating books, all with a baby at her side. She moved through her minutes and her days because her life was irrevocably different, yet nothing had changed. She took her son on the walks, carrying him in a woven shawl like Romanian women had done in the past, partly because the Easterbrooks were reluctant to give her even small conveniences like a baby carriage, and partly because she found a wrap more convenient. Earplug trailed wherever she went, or sometimes it was another armed human man who was thought of as tall boy. As she rambled, always accompanied by a perpetually lonely. Devon took her time to think of a name because it bothered her to keep calling her son the baby. She'd never named anyone before. Traditionally, the families gave their children the first names that were always drawn from locations in Britain. A practice that subtly set them apart from human culture, while also not requiring any of the creativity that their species often lacked. But since Matley didn't want him, and she no longer liked the families much, Devon decided to dispense with that custom. She would make the effort to use her imagination, such as it was. She wavered back and forth on whether her choice ought to have great meaning or significance of some kind. In the end, though, she couldn't be bothered with any pretentiousness and just picked Kai because it sounded nice. It was also short, easy to remember, and wasn't a location. Good enough. Then she cobbled together a matronym for his surname, Kai Devonson. Why not? It would do. Sleep, Kai, she'd whisper, rocking him to sleep at night after her escorts had gone to bed and the electronic alarm systems were engaged. Sleep, little one. Will you dream of me when I'm gone? Weeks stretched into months. Spring flourished into summer. Before fading into autumn, Kai grew like a tumor. And by his second birthday, Devon had begun to fear her son. Not that she didn't love him. She did. There were endless things she loved about him, like the nautilus whorls of his obsidian hair and his bright axonite eyes, and the warm tint of his skin, a few shades richer and darker than her own. Next to him, she looked almost ashen. She loved the way he tilted his head sideways at every new object or toy, and the fierce way he laughed, especially when doing something dangerous like jumping from high places. Her fear came from other things. The way he could cross a room before she'd hardly noticed, even though her own reflexes were superhuman. He spoke early, and his first word was hungry. She found that sweet until he started saying it while looking at her head. Sometimes while she was tidying their quarters or eating a book or having a bath, Kai would creep up on her with soft steps and nuzzle at her ear. He liked to flick his tongue clumsily, like a snake. "Don't do that," she said, a little chilled. "Hungry?" Kai pouted at her. A baby still, though he wouldn't always be. The craving was already in him. She decided it was time to ask for redemption, and madly reluctantly arranged to have it ordered from the Ravenscars at eye-watering cost. She tried to ignore his seething resentment. When the first delivery arrived, Devon sat on the edge of her bed and inspected the tiny, chewable pills in their glass jar. Unstamped, unmarked, somewhat crudely made, they crumbled a little to her easily when handled, leaving a powdery residue on her skin. They smelled of iron. There were no alternate options, though. The secret of how the Ravenscars had made their magic cure or what process had led them to such a discovery was tightly kept. Different families had tried to find their own cure but had no success with it. Most didn't know where to start. As ever, the book eaters' limited imaginations did not help them here. Even with redemption, Devon couldn't help but wonder whether her son would snack on other people if she let him, whether in fact she might wake one night to find his face closing in on hers, tongue gunning for her ear. But he cried when she left him to sleep on his own in the cot, and seemed so deeply unhappy in the cage-like crib that she eventually let him carry in her bed. Let him stay in her bed. What else could she do? He was only little. He took to lying awake long after he'd fallen asleep, body tensed in readiness. One second, guys. Oh my god. You know, I said we'd do something else after, but like, oh my god. I'm actually starting to fall asleep here. We might call it early after this chapter, and then we're gonna do a longer stream tomorrow. I might start earlier tomorrow, just so we can go a bit longer, depending on how I sleep. But I'm so sorry. I'm actually about to fall asleep here. But I want to finish this chapter at least. We're pushing through this chapter. Yeah, I'm sorry, Wiz. I've been up since 3 a.m. I need some sleep soon. I thought I could do longer, but holy fuck, it's catching up on me right now. season rolled into season. So little time. She tried to enjoy every moment. They went for more walks, playing outdoors when possible. Matley grudgingly provided more redemption as Kai weaned himself off milk. Once or twice he came in to check on them in person. The first time he said nothing, merely eyed Kai for a while before leaving. A rowdy stream full of energy tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on then. For sure. I wanna do some more stuff. Really wish I could do more today, but I really can't. The second time he said unexpectedly, "Does that thing love you, or does it just want to eat you?" "If Kai ever decides to feed on me, you'll be the first to know," she said sweetly, which was enough to have him backpedaling out of the room. Even for adult book eaters, revulsion of dragons lingered strong. They did not see Matley again for months after that. Another wan and lonely spring passed by. Devon spent it singing and humming as she trudged after her wandering toddler, ever amused to hear Earplug huffing behind them. Other children avoided Kai, other adults avoided Devon. It suited her. She found it hard to hide her contempt of them in person. Her life shrank and narrowed to a succession of lonely, windy days spent under the orchard trees or in Easterbrook Gardens, out and about in all weathers. Kai's birthday went unremarked by everyone except Devon, who sang him happy birthday, and made him an animal menagerie to play with by folding paper she tore out of books. He laughed with delight, and she almost cried thinking of Salem's lavish parties. Salem was a prisoner, but a well-treated one. Her birthdays as welcome and celebrated as Kai's were not. Winter thickened into the holiday season. Christmas Eve passed, a big party with presents and lights and laughter. Devon was not invited, nor Kai, which made him sad. He watched from the hallway with a wobbling lip, old enough to understand that their world had shut him out. "We'll do a proper Christmas when you're older," she promised, leading him away from the rooms where they'd been excluded. An empty promise, but she couldn't bear to see him cry. "Hungry," he said unhappily and sniffled at her. Hungry was something he said a lot, even when he had plenty of redemption, but Devon knew he did not mean food for this instance. Oh my god. Nor even the unnatural craving of a mind eater. He hungered for something less tangible, yet just as crucial. An antidote to loneliness. He craved, even then, the company and acceptance of other people. Unfortunately, Devon didn't have any pills for that. Christmas morning woke her with the sound of hail crashing against the house and a car engine revving in the drive. She stumbled out of bed and stood at the window. Matley's car was pulling up. He got out, arguing indistinctly into a mobile phone, and then he looked up, straight from the courtyard below, pointing at her window. Devon took a step back, alarmed for no reason she could pinpoint. Something in his expression had carried fury, in addition to his more usual loathing. Was today the day they'd come for her son? I sat up in bed and said quite calmly, "Mommy, I'm very hungry." She looked at him, tearing her gaze from the window. "I know, love, but we're out of redemption, so we'll have to wait a little bit. Won't be long." Madley said they'd surely be a shipment today. Frustratingly, the most recent order of redemption had been inexplicably delayed by a fortnight, and the last pill from a previous order had been used up yesterday. "Hungry now." Those axonite eyes gleamed dark, his skin paler than normal. The proboscis tongue unfurled slowly from his mouth and then rolled back up. Devon swallowed. She had never found her child revolting, not in the slightest, until that moment. A hint of what other book eaters saw in him, and her own reaction shamed her. "Be patient," she told him, and hoped she sounded cheering. "Any time now, and Madley will bring you something to eat." She had never called the man "your father," ever. Kai stared at her with far more intensity than any 3-year-old should have. His irises darkened to black, pupils and whites seeming to shrink. Devon began to dress, tossing aside her night shift for a long linen dress, struggling with the laces as she always did. She had just finished braiding up her hair when someone banged on the door, probably someone bringing the much-needed redemption delivery. "Just a minute," she went on to let them in. On the other side stood Madley Easterbrook, flanked by Earplug and Tallboy. All three of them carried blackjacks. "I came to say Merry Christmas, Princess." Her husband strode in, followed closely by those two men. "Or maybe I should say goodbye, since this is your last day here," Kai said, pouting and sulky. Snack? Snack now?" "What?" She backed away from the three men, keeping her son behind her. "The nights aren't due till New Year." "There's been a change of plan." Madley surged toward her. "The Raven scars are gone. Kaput. Finished. No more redemption." "Snack," Kai repeated with increased grumpiness. Mommy, I'm hungry." He sulked at Madley, who ignored him. "Where's Snack?" "Gone?" she said, incredulous. "How the hell can an entire family manor just disappear? What happened to them?" Tallboy laughed. Earplug smirked. Madley glared at them till they fell silent, and then turned back to her. "Look, it doesn't matter, right? Not women's business, you wouldn't understand," he added, and she realized from the sharp, embarrassed tone that Madley himself didn't know. "The point is, there won't be any redemption coming ever again." "No more redemption?" she echoed, horrified. "But..." "Shut up and listen," he said. "The nights are in chaos, probably disbanding. Nobody needs or wants your brat anymore, and I sure as hell can't feed him, so it's over. Go quietly back to Fairweather Manor, and I won't make you watch while I put this thing down." What the fuck? Put this thing down. Her lovely, laughing, lonely boy like a sick dog. He wouldn't even get to be a dragon. That last tiny horrific scrap of, but at least he'll be alive and cared for. And he couldn't let her even have that. How goes the book? It's fucked up. But also, we're gonna be ending here soon, Crystal. I am super tired. We're gonna just finish this chapter and then I'm probably gonna go to sleep. I'm so sorry. I've been up ever since I woken up and messaged you like almost 24 hours ago at this point. All right, we have like 2 pages left. Stay away from him. Fury drowned out her fear. I just woke up from a nap a bit ago. A nap would have been so nice. I will just fucking crash out in my, like, just fucking crash in my bed, fall asleep, and not wake up until like, I don't know, 10 in the morning or something. Stay away from him. Fury drowned out her fear. If you won't take care of him, then I will, but I will not let you kill him. Matley hit her with a blackjack. Devon staggered sideways. He hit her again, and she knocked back against the fireplace, catching a granite corner against the side of her head. White heat shot through her skull. The other 2 men walked over and all 3 of them formed a tight triangle, peering down at her sprawled form and bleeding head. Fucking hell! Devon tried to roll over. Earplug stepped on her shoulder, pinning her flat to the floor. Hungry, hungry, hungry! Kai sounded on the verge of a tantrum, tiny hands curled into tiny fists. Stop messing about and tie her up already. Matley bent and picked up a startled Kai by the nape of the neck. I'll deal with the dragon. Wrong. They were wrong. These men called her son a dragon, but she was the only dragon in this room. The fire from her injured skull was nothing compared to the heat that ignited in her chest. Kai wailed, and she breathed rage. Don't move, eh? Earplug leaned in close. You. And Devon unsheathed her book teeth and lunged for his throat. Blood bathed her tongue, sickly and bitter, not sweet like ink. His flesh was a wet, soft, living thing, not the warm dryness of leather or paper. The bones of his neck rolled like marbles in her mouth. 26 years worth of boiling anger was singeing in her veins, and jaw locked tight, Devon wrenched. Earplug's esophagus tore free, so did half the skin on his face. He gurgled and collapsed like a stringless puppet. Blood sprayed on her chest in a hot, sticky baptism. What the fuck? Please, what? Holy, Matley said, gasping, his grip on Kai slackening. Tallboy stood at his side, petrified and stunned. Hungry! Kai twisted in his father's grasp and clamped his mouth on Matley's ear. Matley snarled a torrent of curse words, but Kai clung on. Preternaturally strong for a child of his age. Devon couldn't see it happen, but she could hear it. A faint snicking as the proboscis tongue shot forward, piercing through Matley's eardrum and into his brain. The blackjack dropped from his rigid fingers, rolling across the floor to bump against Tallboy's feet. Tallboy screamed and did nothing except clasp his blackjack statuified with horror. Matley crumpled to the floor ground as if all the tendons in his legs had been simultaneously cut. Hands pawing reflexively at the little boy who still clung to his neck. Kai curled around his father's head, eyes half-lidded like a milk-drunk infant. The pawing hands slowed, then stopped and dropped to the side. Matley tipped over to slump in the spreading pool of Earplug's blood. Too much for Tallboy. He shrieked and bolted for the door. She couldn't let him get away. Devon sprang like a cat, a 6-foot, blood-soaked, half-dressed cat. She tackled him with a sideways lunge, and they landed together, him sprawled face up at the top of her, and her atop his chest. Monster! He howled, his fists raining uselessly against her. Fucking monster! Yes, Devon said, and shredded his throat like a cheap paperback novel. And that's the end of Act 3, guys. That's the end. What the fuck? I guess we have now figured out how Matley died, huh? Hi, Rose. I'm so glad to see you here. Sadly, we're actually gonna end here already very soon. I'm super fucking sleepy, but I'm so happy to see you, Rose. I'm so sorry. I've been up for like 20 hours or more. I'm so sleepy. I'm so sorry. Sorry for being late. You're okay, Rose. I'm sorry for ending so early. I would have done longer. Not just a book. I planned like doing a game afterwards, like either Celeste, Spyro, or whatever, but like I almost fell asleep already, like trying to read the last 5 pages of this book. I can't. I wish I could. But holy fuck, the ending of that chapter was insane. Oh, you're not the only one who took a nap, I guess. I should have gone for a nap before the stream, so I would have had some energy, but oh my god. I barely slept from Friday to Saturday. Basically slept all day Saturday. Woke up at 3 a.m. and now it's 1 a.m. the next day, and I've been up ever since. I would love to, Rose. So yeah, I've been up for like 21 hours at this point, or 22 hours. I need sleep. I need a big amount of sleep. But we'll be streaming again tomorrow. We'll be streaming again tomorrow. Probably a bit earlier. And probably a bit longer. And we be gaming. We gonna be doing Spyro. We're gonna be doing Celeste. Maybe we're gonna do some Genshin. We have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. But for today, I'm gonna go eat beat. I've been up for way too long. I'm so sorry, Rose, that you just caught me right at the end. But I'm so happy to see you. Always. So yeah, if you have time tomorrow and can catch me tomorrow, I'll be here again. I'll be streaming tomorrow. Sorry again for being so late. You're fine, Rose. I just appreciate you stopping by whenever you can. No matter what time. I was even, I was even thinking about maybe we can do some karaoke today. Which is another thing, Rose. You've missed every single time I've done karaoke. Oh, man. You haven't heard me sing horribly yet. Because that's what I do. I don't have a good singing voice, but I don't know what people want me to sing. Who said that? I do. I say that. Guess you have to beat my ass then. Because I say that I have a shitty singing voice. Because it's true. I'll beat your ass. Come over here then. I'll wait. I'll be waiting. Could certainly try. Bring Crystal along as well. Bet. Hey, I mean, I wouldn't say no to having two lovely ladies over here coming to visit. Oh my god. No, I just woke up and I'm ready to crawl back in bed right now. I feel that. I've done that so many times. Like, I woke up and just immediately back asleep. Do I ever come across as not nice as someone people wouldn't? I don't think so, Crystal. I always love being around you. I always want to hang out with you. You've been nothing but nice. Would I text you or basically every day and like ask you to play if I wouldn't want to hang out with you? Yeah, I guess we have to beat someone else's ass now, huh, Rose? It's the second time this year for both of them. I wanted to go for years. I guess people just don't want to do things with me. Aww. Crystal. If I could go to the beach with you, I would. 100%. I've been to one in Italy before. Got sunburnt the first day. Yeah, Crystal, I would go with you as well, 100%. I'll fly over there just to go to the beach with you. Absolutely, same Rose. Like, come on. I love going outside, and if we can do something together, yeah, I would love to. Like if you wanted to, we could go out every day. Right this second. No. I wish I could join in. I would just take a bit longer and need a bit more money. I would love to. I would just love to visit you guys. It's crazy that they would just kick you out for that. Right. Hell yeah. I'm sure you'll find something new there as well. I like them. That's true. Especially the events one. That seems like so much fun. Skirts are cute. You're not the only one, Rose. I would love to join you guys. Just cuddle forever. Oh my god, I would love that. See so many cool places, right? Same. What's going on, Rose? Okay. You just get ready for bed. I'm actually browsing through YouTube right now, thinking of like maybe one song karaoke we can do before I go. Letting my video for YouTube upload and I'm crawling in bed. Nice. I'll be joining you soon. I'll be joining you shortly. Oh, I gotta be able to sleep thanks to my nap. I feel that sometimes, but right now I could just go right there to my bed and just fall asleep. But I'm thinking about doing like one song of karaoke. Oh my god. Wow. So I recently heard again that Alec Benjamin is gonna release a new song, which is an unreleased demo. He's gonna fully release now. And I just saw when he released that unreleased demo. And I've heard it back then. It was 7 years ago.